when the fire starts to
Welcome to Glan Y Gors Park here in North Wales, our location for round 3 of the Ultimate Karting Championship. The racing this season has been highly competitive in the UKC, and with Glan Y Gors being one of the most popular circuits on the calendar, with a classic flat-out blind turn 2, followed by one of the greatest elevation changes of any circuit anywhere in Europe, from the spoon curve coming down through Damon Hill and into the carousel. The racing here promises much for us, the fans, and the drivers alike. Well, after round 2, the stories have continued to develop in each class, so we thought we'd have a look at some of them, Kev's notebook style. Where better to start than here, Argenti Motorsport. Now, you may remember when we were here last year at GYG, we had a catch-up with their team principal, Ron Meadows, who, when he's not spending his weekends running around kart tracks all over the UK, is busy in his other job. He's sporting director for Mercedes Formula One. Not bad, is it? Miami one weekend, North Wales the next. Well, that fact probably hasn't gone unnoticed by some of the parents involved in karting this year, because guess what? Look, the awning, it was 1 deep last time. This season, 3 awnings deep. How about that? Now, they have some 8 drivers in the Minimax class alone, 4 of whom made the top 10 in round 2 at Warden Law. William Murphy was their top performer. He got himself 4th in that super final. But credit to Gabriel Cullen, he was the biggest mover in that super final. He made up 18 places from 34th to finish in a highly credible 16th. Nice work, Gabriel. Well, the man on fire in the Minimax class is Synergy driver Noah Wolf. Now, you may remember he took the super final win in round 1, and at round 2, oh boy, what a finish to that one. Going into the horseshoe on what was the final lap and the penultimate turn, he put in a bold move on Chaos Sports' Sebastian Mins and took the victory. And your heart had to go out to Sebastian, because at that point he'd been leading for most of the race and probably thought it was all wrapped up. When we take a look at the championship then, the points show that Wolf has a small lead, but he's being chased by Finn Leslie, Josh Graham and that man Seb Mims. But I tell you what, with the 68 driver entry this season in this class, there are plenty more stories still to be written. Well, after our interview with team principal at Zipcar, Earl Panarji, who advised us to watch out for his boys because they were coming, Rocco Shenton duly obliged by taking the victory in the Honda Cadet Super Final. It's Ambition's Kenzo Craigie who leads the way after round 2. And don't forget, he led the race for a while before dropping back to finish 5th in the Super Final. But that was good enough for an 11-point lead over Passion Motorsport's Oliver Majewski, with the early championship leader after round 1, SFR's Max Cuthbert, down to 3rd in the standings after a disappointing day in the Northeast where he finished 9th. Cole Denham and Jarrett Clark rounded out the podium slots, but the biggest mover in the Honda Cadet Super Final, not always seen by the cameras, was Josh Griffin, who made up some 14 places in the race from his starting position of 28th on the grid. He will no doubt be hoping for a better starting position for the Super Final here at GYG in order to give his raw pace and obvious racecraft a chance to get more screen time this time around. Now, I've already mentioned Zip Kart winner in the Honda Cadet class last time out, and that was Rocco Shenton. But it didn't end there for the team, because they had a further victory in junior road tax for Gabriel Stilp. Now, Stilp was followed home by Charlie Hart for Sam Pollitt Racing. And what about Hunter Motorsports' Gustav Yusukovs? He got himself a third place, first time on the podium this year, and that makes amends for his disappointing round one. Jay Smith, though, for ST Racing, well, he did phenomenally well, didn't he, in the Rotax Juniors? He made up 19 places in total, finished 15th, and that was from the back of the grid. That was a great effort that went a little bit unnoticed, perhaps, in our coverage last time out, so hopefully we can have a chat to him this weekend. Now, looking at the Junior Rotax Championship, we've got Ethan Simmons leading, Ted Bradbury is just behind on 2 points, and Gabe Fairbrother is in third, after what was perhaps a disappointing 9th place at Warden Law. Now, this association then between Zip and Croc, it certainly has been paying off for the team, with drivers like Caden McQueen, who we know is a brilliant driver. Well, his win last time out at Warden Law was like one that we've never seen before. He was so far out in front. Now, that gave Zip 3 wins out of the 5 super finals. And in senior road tax, that 68 driver field really is throwing up some results that mean that championship is wide open. Sam Gornall may lead, but Lewis Harvey's second in the table is all the more remarkable, to be fair, after suffering setup issues at Warden Law that saw him drop back to 11th. However, what's even more incredible is the fact that a super final DNF and a 32nd place finish for Jamie Rogers still sees him third in the overall standings. You couldn't make it up, but we have to say McQueen's win at round 2 has certainly put him back in contention, as he now sits in 4th. But the driver that made up the biggest number of places at Warden Law was Project One's Jamie Perrelly. 18 places is what he managed to do in that super final. Well done to him. Well, in the Sodi Micromax Academy class, it was local North East driver Dan Minto who took the win, dominating proceedings at Warden Law. But don't forget, he was chased home. It was a comfortable victory, but he was chased home by Jaden Sherwood and Tyler O'Neill. Now, this class really does look like it could go down to the final round at this stage. Further back in the super final, kudos to this young man. It was a 10th place finish for JJ Lowe, but he was the driver that made up the most places on the day. So great overtaking, JJ. Well done to you. And how about this? Novice driver Olivia Reynolds finished a very credible 7th place. Well done, Olivia. Keep pushing like that and you'll be on the podium in no time. Well, at any UKC weekend, there are always plenty of big teams and plenty of big awnings. And I'm pleased to say that we've jumped inside at Ultimate R and I'm catching up with Ben Himsley. Ben, great to see you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
It is a busy weekend for you. We're just having a chat. You got 9 racers here, so 9 people, you know, fettling away on the engines and the karts. How's it going?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Luckily, it's our home race, which is lovely to be at. There's some longer journeys. This is a shorter one, so that's nice. And yeah, all the lads have been fast, which is good. We've had some good results. We've had some wins in the heats so far, some fastest laps, and then on the other side, a few crashes. So
brilliant. Few fastest laps already.
A few fastest laps. Gabe Fairbrother got a heat win in his first heat, which was a good start. And then unfortunately, he had a crash in the second one, so a bit mixed. But yeah, relatively a good start.
Brilliant. And tell us the mix of drivers that you've got on here, because looking around, I'm seeing, well, with juniors, seniors and minis?
Yeah, so we run all the road tax classes, mini, junior and senior.
Yeah.
And then, mixture of age categories, different levels of experience, which is great with this championship. So.
And how important is it having that mix of age categories? Are the youngsters looking up to the older guys and going, oh, he's a senior, I want to be like him?
Yeah, it works really well, to be fair. I like, since I started the team a couple of years ago, it's been better as like a younger team. Yeah. So we've got a lot of past drivers that mechanic on the karts and help and driver coach and stuff like that, along with myself. And I feel like that really helps them.
Yeah, sure.
Because, the past experiences help with what's going on in current situations, so it's been good.
And speaking of past drivers, you are one yourself. Anyone who's been around karting will know, and chatting to Alan, our race commentator, actually, he remembers a sort of blanket finish at PFI, one of the closest ever seen in karting, he said. I think 3 went across the line.
Yeah. I mean, Alan's commentated on quite a lot of my races, I think, over the years, so which was nice. So, yeah, I mean, I stopped racing a couple of years ago now after doing quite a lot of high-level F3 all over the world, really. So, you know, again, it's great to come back and help, you know, the karters that are doing it now, and, you know, promote them, improve them, and yeah, just try and...
And what we are seeing, like you've just mentioned there's a very clear progression, and even more so, we're seeing it everywhere now, clear progression from karting through the formulas and all the way to the top. I mean, Dan Genshard, obviously from Argentina, Formula 4 this year, won just better than last year. You've made it. We've got George Russell, Lando Norris, all these people. Their names, it happens, it can happen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was very fortunate. You know, I've raced against, you know, a lot of the people in the F1 grid. So I was very fortunate for that, and also very fortunate that I got the chance to race, you know, because obviously in motorsport, funding and sponsorship is a main problem. But I was lucky enough to have some funding from a sponsor who looked after me, and he backed me for a good couple of years. And in the end, it just didn't quite work out with the money that they had to spend. But yeah, it shows with George and Lando, and then obviously Dan doing what he did in this championship last year helped. Helped him get the Mercedes stuff. So yeah, you know, there's never a limit. You know, you've always got to try your best and always keep pushing, because you know, you can never kind of give up. Always keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And let's talk about the circuit then this weekend. You just said, like, home circuit for you. It is perhaps one of the most stunning settings for a kart track anywhere in the UK. When you look up across the green rolling hills, it's just beautiful, especially on a day like today. But just tell us about the circuit a little bit. What's the key to doing well here? Where are the overtaking points? And what are some of the things that you're telling these youngsters?
So yeah, I mean, luckily I live about 40 minutes away from here. Half an hour, which is beautiful, because we can come up here and do quite a lot. The guys, Ash, Eddie, and the whole and Matt and the whole team at GYG, they do a great job. They look after the circuit really well, and it's, in my eyes, one of the best, you know, if not the best. It's got so much character to it. You know, like, I've driven a lot of circuits, like we've just said, over the years, and this is it's got a bit of everything. You know, it's the camber in the track, the elevation, the up down. So yeah, you've almost got to drive it. There's a lot of different driving styles needed. You know, you can't just keep it the same way everywhere. You have to adapt. And another, you know, character of the track is that it's very high on tyre degradation. So you're going to see a massive drop off throughout the heats and the finals. So it makes my job harder. It makes the drivers' jobs harder. But then you really see the better drivers do well around here, because they can adapt. They can change their driving style to suit with the tyre or the way the track evolves. So yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah, it really is a challenge. Well, listen, Ben, thanks ever so much for talking to us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you very much.
And go well.
Yeah, no problem. Cheers. Thank you.
So here we are then at Glan Y Gors, right in the middle of the circuit, and oh boy, what a setting. As we are hearing, and as I've already said, this is just beautiful, isn't it? I mean, take a look at that behind me there. But it's not just the scenery that makes this place great, it's the circuit, the layout of the track itself. As we've already heard from Ben, it is a circuit that has it all. It has heavy braking zones, fast acceleration zones, and you've got that elevation change as well. So if you want to do well here, as we heard from Ben, you are going to have to manage your tyres. You're going to need to know what makes a fast lap. And with that in mind, he very kindly invited us back into his race truck to take a look at one on the laptop.
Okay, so into the last corner before you start the lap. Across the start and finish line and into club corner. Really important you get the curb. Sets you up the nice onto the straight, really nice. Come across to the right hand side as it's not very straight. Open the corner up, easy flat up the hill. And then you're into a spoon. It drops some weight downhill a lot, so it's really important you hold the brake and not miss the corner too much. Again, down the hill, now you're into carousel, long left-hander. It's really important you don't slide too much, as it can, you know, really mess you up on the run up the hill, back up. Really important, these two rides, just nice and smooth, keep the minimum speed up. And now you're into the most technical bit, devil's elbow and compressing corner. Keep it over to the left, use the curbs, nice and tidy like Dave was there. And then set up the last corner, make sure you're all the way over to the left and power through across the start-finish line. And that's a lap of GYG.
The Honda Cadet class are the first youngsters out on track here at Glan Y Gors this weekend. So let's go and see how they've all qualified with the grid positions and go join the race start with your race commentator, Jake Sansom.
And it's Kenzo Craigie on pole position after winning the Super Heat. Rocco Shenton alongside him from Oliver Majewski, then Ethan Griffiths, Bella Fairclough and Max Endicott in the top six. Licata, Price, Wolford and Oliver Spencer round out a very competitive top 10. And then Thomas Hill, Ryan White, Riley Till and Ewan House from Jaden Mead, and Oliver Newell. Oliver Meek is not going to take the start. We're not entirely sure why, but he is the man who is not able to get off the starting grid. And away we go. And we're on board with the Zipcar driver, Bella Fairclough, already starting to get in behind Majewski. And she makes up a place there as she goes wheel to wheel with Ethan Griffiths, the Heat 1 winner. It was Griffiths, Shenton and Craigie that picked up the Heat wins earlier on. And then obviously Craigie got the pole position by winning the Super Heat, but now we are up the hill as Majewski is going to try and hold on to third position, and Bella Fairclough is going to get on the inside of him. Lovely move from Bella Fairclough on the opening lap, and as we go down Damon Hill into the hairpin, it is a great start already for Rocco Shenton. He's got clear, but Bella Fairclough up to third, and that's Wolfit. Wolfit has spun it. That is very unfortunate, but he has got the presence of mind to keep the kart throttle open, and he has got the kart going again. Yeah, he's got to keep his head down now, try and get back into it. You never know what will happen. You might get some sort of Battenberg flag that will close everybody up, but there's decent lead by Shenton, but what a great start by Bella Fairclough, Jake, on that opening lap. It's a great little getaway she got, and she's already up to second place as they go through the line. Yes, indeed, and a great start from Max Endicott. He's up to fourth place now in front of Griffiths, so a great launch there from Endicott. Price is in P6, then it's Craigie all the way down to seventh. So a big problem there from Kenzo Craigie at the start. Rocco Shenton is the one that moves up and takes a very strong lead as we ride on board with Fairclough. Oh, look at that from Majewski on the inside. A very tight manoeuvre, and now has the presence. Look, he bangs the helmet. Don't overtake me. Work with me, Bella. Yeah, taps the helmet with his finger now. Just, I know I've overtaken you, but don't overtake me now. Let's get back to the leader. I can see the sense in it, but the kids do that all the time. Well, you can see how easy it is as dropping it off through the complex. I think that might have been a little bit of a run wide there from Ethan Griffiths, who has now fallen to seventh behind Craigie and Price. Kenzo Craigie has made his way back up into fifth position. Majewski sets the fastest lap of the race. Not a major shock, but look, the two of them are going to work together, and they are going to absolutely decimate the gap that Rocco Shenton had built up in the first two laps. Look, there's nothing in it now as they go down the hill. Shenton had about 5 or 6 kart lengths. Now it's barely the width of an A4 piece of paper. Majewski sets the fastest lap. Not surprisingly, he's got Shenton to judge his braking on. That's why he's closed him up. So there you go, Shenton leads it, Majewski second, then Bella Fairclough, a little bit of a gap back to fourth place. Max Endicott there in fourth, and then comes Craigie, Price, Griffiths, Ryan White in the top 10 in eighth, then Riley Till up into the top 10, he's in ninth, and Thomas Hill. New fastest lap of the race from Bella Fairclough. She was really strong here at this circuit a couple of weeks ago when she was in training for the Ultimate Karting Championship, and she really seems to have taken that data and that presence of mind on board here in UKC in the Honda Cadets. And down the hill, we've got a great battle for the lead, but we've also got a fantastic battle building up behind Ethan Griffiths, seventh place downwards. That's Till, White, Licata, Hill and Spencer, all having a terrific charge in behind Ethan Griffiths. It is a 6-kart train all the way back to Oliver Spencer, and this is just going to take one slight blip of the throttle, one dash of curb, one error in judgment in the apex, and all of a sudden it's going to be open season. Look, there's a couple of variations in line already as Thomas Hill and Oliver Spencer were trying their luck to get past Rio Licata as Shenton bangs in a quick one up at the front end of the field. So Shenton leads the mark as Bella Fairclough is still trying to keep up with Oliver Majewski. But Majewski is going to try and get his first run at the lead here. Rocco Shenton's fastest lap was a 49.316. Down the hill, is Majewski going to try the same move he tried on Bella Fairclough? Well, he's got a lot more free time to play with to the end of the race. You don't really want to take the lead too early on. You really want to be in second position for a lot of it, because then obviously the driver in front has to do all of the hard work, all of the stretching of the brakes, all of the engine temperatures. Everything is worked for the kart in front, because that's the one that cuts through the dirty air ahead of everybody else. If you're in second and third place, you can gain massive momentum and you can look after your kart a little bit more efficiently through turn one and up the hill once again. Battles throughout the field, top three are battling, then you've got a battle for fourth and fifth. Jack Price looks like he's out on his own in sixth place. That's Ryan White and Ethan Griffiths battling to come up into this blind turn two, up over the brow. You can't see the other side of it. We didn't see it, but fair play to Kenzo Craigie. He's got himself back into fourth position, having initially lost a lot of ground at the start. He has now fought his way back into fourth place ahead of Endicott. as we watch the battle. This is Rio Licata in front of Riley Till. So those two having a nice little tussle. And then up the hill, we've got, that is the 99 of Ethan Griffiths. He's caught up to Ryan White. So Ryan White held the advantage for a little way, but Ethan Griffiths has actually dropped the karts behind him a little bit and given himself a little bit of breathing space. So now we've got Price, White and Griffiths all in the duel for 6th position. Then there's a tiny bit of a gap, I'd say about 8 or 9 kart lengths. And then you've got Licata, Till, Spencer and Hill. So some good battles all the way through. House in 13th from Mead, Newell and Charlie Wolfert, who's actually made up a lot of the ground he lost already from that spin. He would have been about 5 or 6 seconds off the back of the grid, and he's already made up about half that. So good progress from Charlie Wolfert. Never give up. You never know what's coming.
No, that's true. We know Charlie's got a lot of qualities, but he's got a lot of work to do from right at the very back. He's just going through the spoon there at the top of the picture. And everybody else in the picture, you can pick out your favourite drivers from that great drone shot. Here are the top 3. So Rocco Shenton, Oliver Majewski and Bella Fairclough. Bella Fairclough having a great day, Jake. Fantastic performance so far. Right there in 3rd, close enough, if good enough, and we think she is.
Oh, absolutely. The Fairclough sisters did a fine job last time they were here, and now in the Ultimate Karting Championship, they are proving to be superstars, the pair of them. Bella is the one who's had the best opportunity this weekend, a decent group position that she's now converted into a potential podium. She could get both of these drivers out in front. She just needs to stay patient, good presence of mind, good skill, good racecraft. A lot of foresight is going to need to get past these two because they are no slouches, Shenton and Majewski. They are definitely 2 of the best Honda Cadet drivers in the country right now. So Rocco Shenton and Oliver Majewski just holding on to the apex as they go down through the compression complex, out through Devil's Elbow, and then into Paddock Bend. You can see that Kenzo Craigie and Max Endicott have got a lot of work to do to catch up to these 3. So Majewski was actually wise there with Bella Fairclough. He tapped his helmet, come on and work with me. But look how much they've managed to gain. It's nearly 3 seconds clear of Kenzo Craigie.
It is. And there's Craigie and Endicott pictured as they come through that blind brow at turn 2, over the hump into the spoon. Left-handed now, they'll take them down Damon Hill. The biggest elevation change, I think, is in world karting, Jake. Do you know anywhere else that's got an elevation change like this, top of the hill to the bottom?
I've got a feeling that SA in France might be a little bit steeper, and certainly the drop out of turn 1 through to turn 2 at Alajama in Finland is mighty steep. But I did walk this circuit a couple of weeks ago, and the TV pictures don't relate how steep it is. Kev is trackside. What do you make of it so far?
Well, here we are then, 9 laps into this one, and those front 3 are bumper to bumper. Rocco Shenton is very much in the lead, but I tell you what, Oliver Majewski, well, he is right there on his tail. I think this one, watching trackside, is going to go down to the final lap or 2. If they can stick together as a 3, then watch that last lap. It's going to be really, really exciting.
You're absolutely spot on the mark. I've got a feeling this might even start with a couple of laps to go, or even the anti-penultimate lap could be the one where this kicks off, because everybody wants to be in 2nd position going into that penultimate lap. So Bella will want to be ahead of Majewski. Shenton will actually want to be behind Majewski by that point, because he's going to have to defend like crazy to keep these 2 behind. It's not going to be easy. Look, Fairclough is already starting to open out the apex a little bit to try and get a little bit of an undercut. I think she's trying to leapfrog Majewski and catch him out. Look at the battle further back for 7. This is White, Spencer, Price, Licata, Till and Hill, and they are having an absolute dogfight as they come up to turn 1, up the hill once again. Spencer is doing a great job. He's worked his way up to 8th position so far. He's making up some good time here, Oliver Spencer. So he has a chance, and he's going to go through on the inside of White. And Licata and Jack Price will all go with him. That's how easy it is for the floodgates to open. Now watch as White gets up alongside Price to try and get up through again into the inside of the hairpin. Is he going to get there? Well, it's going to need bravery from Price round the outside to hold him off. But he has to let him go. That was very strong indeed from Ryan White.
Oliver Spencer's made up 3 places then. He's in 7th now, I think that is, Jake.
Yes,
and
he will
started P10, didn't he? So he's up 3 places. And across the entire field, that's the most number of places made up so far. There's another move in the final turn. And that is Ryan White up the inside. Fantastic.
He's definitely putting on a bit of a show at the end of this Honda Cadet final, isn't he? He's making really good use of his apexes now. And he's really good on the exit of the apex as well. He's managed to keep his speed high. And that's the thing in Honda Cadet. A lot of this comes down to the momentum you carry through the corners. If you use too much brake, and that obviously slows the engine down, it makes the engine obviously take a little bit longer to get back up to its rev limiter, so you lose a lot of momentum. It's about how much of the speed you actually carry. Getting to the business end of this final, Shenton, Majewski and Fairclough in the battle for the victory. Could go anybody's way.
Into the penultimate lap, Majewski's just taken the lead, but for how long? Shenton looking back down the inside, goes for it, and Bella Fairclough goes with him. So Shenton back into the lead, and Fairclough through to second for the first time since the opening lap, I think it was, Jake.
Yes, indeed, and of course this is the highest that she has run in the Honda Cadet field at UKC. She's one step away from taking the win in the final. She can work with Majewski as they go up the hill, last lap. And this is a great opportunity now. Fairclough has got Shenton in the draft. She's going to go up the hill. She just catches the rear bumper at the wrong moment. She is going to get the move on the inside of the spoon. Shenton will not give the space. That was so close for Fairclough to get into the lead. Shenton is now parking the bus in the inside apex. Surely Fairclough is going to need a really brave move down at Devil's Elbow to get through on Shenton, but can Majewski get ahead of Fairclough before that happens? Shenton is keeping Fairclough guessing. Left, right, no way through. He is keeping that cart as wide as a Buick. Oh, Fairclough gets the back bumper. He manages to save it. There's not a lot of grip at that point because there's a couple of spots of water on the camera. Final corner. Is this going to be enough? Fairclough runs wide. Shenton from Majewski and Fairclough. Oh, Fairclough so nearly got the second place. Just drifted out wide. Shenton takes the win. Craigie ahead of Endicott for fourth and fifth. But how good was that final lap from Shenton and Majewski? So tight. Let's look at it again.
I don't think there's any contact, Jake. That's Bella picked out. No contact from Majewski.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. Bella just
bit.
runs wide on the grass. And look at that. Just loses it on the line.
Just a little bit too much speed carried into the final turn. She learns the lesson the hard way, but she still earns a valiant podium. Shenton from Majewski and Bella Fairclough. Then Kenzo Craigie and Max Endicott, Ethan Griffiths ahead of Oliver Spencer, who made up the most places in that final. Rio Licata, Jack Price, and the hard charger Ryan White making his way to 10th.
Well, how about that in that first one of the Super Finals here at round 3? Rocco Shenton takes the win. There was a little bit of bump and hustle there on that final lap, but those front three of Rocco, Oliver and Bella, they were fighting out. In the end, Rocco comes off the victor, and of course, he's your championship leader. Wins at round 2, wins here at round 3. Let's go and see what he had to say at the podium.
Rocco, great round for you at Warden Law. You won there. You've won again here. Now, you didn't do the first round, but you're still in championship contention if you do the rest of the season. Are you doing the rest of the season?
Yeah, we're doing all the rounds that are left, hopefully to win them all.
Okay, if you do, you probably win the championship. So, great success for you in the last 2 rounds. Who's that down to?
That's down to Open RG, Zipcar, my mum and my dad, and me really, for driving it.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Great racing, Honda Cadet. That was a real battle, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very tough at the end, very close on the line.
It was indeed. Great season for you so far. Didn't have the best round, I guess, at Warden Law, but you're back on top this weekend. Who do you want to thank?
I'd like to thank my mum, my dad, Connor Mills, Passion Motorsport.
Bella Fairclough, 3rd place in Honda Cadet. Now, Jake Sanson, my commentary colleague, has been talking you up big time this year, and you have delivered for him. Just talk us through that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that race. It was really close to the end. And I thought I would come 3rd, well, 2nd maybe, but 3rd's good enough.
It is. Who do you want to thank for your success this weekend?
I'd like to thank Zipcar, my mum, my dad, and yeah, everyone who's just brought me on.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Well, you're going to be seeing a lot more of Bella Fairclough in 2022 and beyond. Kenzo Craigie leads the title fight by just 4 points to Rocco Shenton. Majewski is creeping up behind them. Max Endicott, Bella Faircloughs and Ethan Griffiths are in a very competitive top 6, with Cuthbert, Licata, Spencer and Wolfitz snapping at their heels as the Honda Cadet title fight moves on.
Well, the Minimax Super Final is up next, and one youngster that maybe they might have expected more from this season is Taylor Orridge. After the opening 2 rounds, he's down in about 18th place in the overall standings. And maybe that is part of the reason why this weekend he's decided to switch to junior road tax. I caught up with him earlier on to find out what else may have prompted that change. Taylor, great to see you here this weekend. An exciting weekend for you as well, and big news because we've seen you running in Minimax for the first 2 rounds, but here you are at round 3 at GYG, and now you're running in Junior Road Tax. So tell us how that's come about.
Yeah, it's obviously we struggled in Minimax with just problems with the carts and stuff. So we couldn't really do anything in Minimax.
Yeah.
So we just thought, why don't we just get experience in Junior and go up.
And it's a great idea because elsewhere outside of UKC, you're already running an X30 kart in Junior X30, so there's more of a natural progression.
Yeah, obviously I'm already up to speed with it because I've done a lot of time in the X30 and I'm already used to the tyres because we've switched to the X30 tyres.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. And here we are at GYG then, beautiful sunny day. You've just had a spell out on the track, your first spell in that Junior Road Tax kart. How have you got on?
We were quite quick, I'm really happy with it, but I really like the track. We obviously won here last year,
yeah.
And it's a really nice track to drive overall.
Yeah, and I think that's why I was a bit surprised looking at the table as it was with where you are in the championship in Minimax. Like you say, you won here last year. We know you're a great driver, so clearly that Minimax wasn't really working out for you, was it?
It was just really unfortunate, like how everything played out.
Yeah.
But obviously we're just going to try in Junior now.
And the circuit here at GYG, it's a great setting, but from a driver's perspective, what's it like? Where's it quick? Where can you overtake and how do you enjoy it?
Obviously, you've got the top hairpin. That's like the main thing because it's just coming off that long straight.
Yeah.
You can go for like a cheeky lunge down the S's.
Yeah.
But like the hardest corner on the track is like the rib cruncher. It just hurts your ribs.
Yeah.
And if you get it wrong, you just bog.
The rib cruncher.
Yeah.
Is that the official name or is that what you guys call it?
That's what basically everyone in karting calls it.
Fantastic. All right, well look out for that rib cruncher. Good luck in Junior Road Tax and all the best.
Thanks.
Well, the battle in Minimax isn't going to be boring without Taylor Orridge. You've got Noah Wolf and Finn Leslie on the front row of the grid for this final. Sebastian Mins and Josh Graham. Thomas Minspearing and Will Murphy from Liam Hartley, Freddie Housley, Harry Bartle and Alexander Zingarevich in the top 10. And that's just for starters. Look back, you've got Quaker and Walker, Majowskis and Buck from Gabe Cullen and Dan Amore, Will Murtuck, Lewis Goff, Jack West and Jack Thompson in the top 20. And then even further back, there's even more talent. Minimax is just full of it in 2022. Simpson and Mentia, then Oscar Cartmail and David Vichachor, Gregor Reed and Dan Kirkpatrick from Michael Dalton and Victor Hansen, Hipkins and Tomilewski way down the order, and then Smith, Salvadori, Vary and Alex Reed. Ready, and we are underway, and it's already a little bit close for comfort between Wolf and Leslie. They actually banged wheels as they came across the line, but they managed to get through unscathed, and Wolf has dropped back to third as Josh Graham has got himself up into second behind Leslie. So Noah Wolf had to concede there as we ride on board with Harry Bartle. He gets a little bit too close to the back of Liam Hartley, and Hartley drops back in the Jack Dex machine. So as they go down the hill and in through the hairpin, there goes Graham through to the lead past Leslie. And side by side, Leslie and Wolf again, but the door's left open. There goes Sebastian Mins. Mins is through in a third position. It's all kicking off here in the first lap at GYG.
It certainly is. Mins is a hard charger, we know that, and he took the first opportunity given to him and he went straight past. So Mins up into third place. Noah Wolf has won the first two super finals at rounds 1 and 2, we know that. But he's going to have it all on today. This is a really highly competitive class, no doubt about it.
So Finn Leslie is already breathing the exhaust fumes of Josh Graham's machine up in front. Graham just controlling the pace for the moment, trying to settle into a rhythm. You've obviously got the frenetic nature of the first lap. He's managed to break himself into the lead. Now he's got to settle in. You've got to look after the tyres, look after the brakes, manage the engine temperature. They'll be able to do that from the dial on their steering wheel. They'll know how hot the water's getting. They'll know how hot the engine's getting. They can regulate it as they lift and coast in various parts of the course. So they've obviously got to make sure they are very delicate all the way through. In Leslie, he set the fastest lap of the race there. 44.203. Josh Graham, Leslie, Mins, Wolf, Murphy, Freddie Housley, never out of the top 6 these days, Freddie. And it's great to see him there again. Harry Bartle of the Albone Racing Department is our cameraman as these two continue to squabble for the lead.
I'll tell you what, Jake, just look who's in 21st place. He started on the back couple of rows. Yeah. Josh Salvadori.
He's made up 10 places already.
Yeah, he's already up to 21st place. That is a great effort.
I'm absolutely stunned. That's incredible comeback driving from Salvadori. He's made more progress than Tomilewski, who we have come to expect as a fast mover through the field. But Tomilewski, of course, not long fresh out of the world of cadets, so he's obviously learning on the job in Minimax. Graham leads Leslie, Mins and Wolf, but there is still a lot of time to play with here. stare at Michael Walker, who's about to make a move on us as we ride back on board with Harry Bartle. That was lovely from the Red Speed driver. No worries at all there for Michael Walker to get into 8th position up towards Spoon Corner. Meanwhile, back at the front end of the field, it's getting pretty hectic. In the middle of the field, it's even more so. This is Cullen, Thompson, Downamore and Alex Zingarevich as they battle over 12th position. Is there going to be a side-by-side run from Thompson? Yes, but he's left the door open for Downamore. Great midfield action, even a little bit of wheel banging, but there's been a lead change up front. Kev has seen it. What can you tell us, mate?
Well, that group of 3, they have been leading for most of the race, but then on lap 6, it was Josh Graham who lost first place to Finn Leslie. Sebastian Mins now finds himself in 2nd, and Josh has got work to do from where I'm standing here in the middle of the track if he wants to get himself back out in front. Exciting stuff then in the Minimax Super Final.
But in the middle of all of that, Wichita went off trying to avoid Zingarevich and Thompson banging wheels. That got a little bit heated. Here comes Dalton up in the air as he tries to get past Oscar Cartmail. He was so lucky not to get sideswiped by Gregor Reed as he went past. Goodness me, Michael Dalton, the scariest of moments. Look, he tries to get the gap on the inside, but Cartmail's accidentally drifted slightly closer to the right than he was expecting. How close was Gregor Reed? He almost went straight into the near side corner. Here comes Bartle diving up the inside. This is a replay of his move on Walker. So a very nice move, and there's not an awful lot he can do about that when he has to let Barry Bartle go. So the battle still joined up at the sharp end of the fit. Kev, I think, has got a weather update. Have you got your coat on, Kev?
Definitely now. I'm in the middle of the circuit, just by the start-finish line, and there are spots of rain falling. We're going to see a wet weather race for the final 6 minutes or so of this one. It's going to be really, really exciting.
Well, Kev might be about to put the brolly up, but the drone pilot is still flying, so clearly it's not wet enough to bring him into land. And that's the weird thing about GYG. You can see spots of rain now appearing on the drone camera, but this is a weird circuit, Alan. We've said it time and time again about Glan Y Gors. This is Spa in the UK. There are patches of the circuit where it rains and other parts where it stays dry.
Yeah, certainly where the drone pilot is, it's not raining at the moment, so he's happy to stay up. And if there was any thought of it raining, then he'd be landing, no doubt about it. Down the hill one more time. Action throughout the field. Great battles throughout.
Well, I think we're about to get a little bit of a spicy duel for first and for third, because you've got Leslie versus Graham. There they are. And look back, you've got Murphy versus Wolf. So there are 2 duels going on here. And if the rain comes down, then keep an eye on the likes of Freddie Housley and Thomas Mintz spearing in behind Sebastian Mins. They're going to want to try and make an impact in these last few laps. And they're definitely going to want to make... Josh Salvadori continues his charge forward. He's up in P16 now.
Yeah, and Victor Hansen's on the move as well, Jake. He's made up a load of places as well, Victor. He's in 24th currently.
That's impressive. That's really impressive. Kasper Tomilewski's come up through the field as well, notably. So he's made up some positions now as we watch in the midfield. There is Josh Salvadori in the 110. He's going to make another move. Is he? Oh, the spin. How did he save that? As side by side he goes with Ben Simpson and Alexander Zingarevich. That is the save of the century. He had the full 4-wheel drift, and somehow Josh Salvadori kept it pointing in the right direction. That was like Tokyo Drift.
Manages to hold on to it. Victor Hansen, by the way, on the last lap, he's made up a load of places, then lost 3. Noah Wolf now with the fastest lap. We're back on board with Harry Bartle, and this is round 3 of this battle.
Yes, indeed. It's ding ding back to your corners once again in the red shorts. It is Michael Walker in the grey shorts. It's Harry Bartle again, and they're going to go down the straight as they head towards the hairpin. Still, those 2 are locking swords. It's going to be very tricky to see who comes out on top. And look, 3rd position, that battle has caught up to the leaders. So now it's a quartet. Graham, Leslie, Murphy, Wolf. And only a couple of seconds back is Sebastian Mins, with Freddie Housley and Thomas Mintz spearing, still waiting in the wings, so a lot can still change. Murphy gets the fastest lap under his belt, a 43.439 on that occasion. But Leslie is going to try and make the move here on Josh Graham. He doesn't want to wait around, and he certainly doesn't want to give Will Murphy any opportunity to get through on the inside. But that little bit of psychological rain is certainly starting to make the top of the tyres just that little bit more greasy into the braking zone. The back end's going to start ticking out a little bit. So the drivers have got to be very careful as they get too much wheel spin. The back end's going to want to overtake the front. So they've got to balance the car. They've got to blip the throttle a little more in the drizzle than they would have done in bone dry.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Kev is feeling the rain from, to be honest. I
Oh,
don't
Wolf!
think it is raining, but
Wolf
Wolf
gets
down
moved.
the inside. So the winner at rounds 1 and 2, trying to cap this off with his third super final victory of the season. More battling in the midfield. Fantastic battling throughout.
Yeah, that's Tomilewski. Kasper Tomilewski gets his move on Oliver Hipkins there. Great overtake from Tomilewski. Very hard to get done in the compression complex as well. You've got to be brave and you've got to be confident to put your kart in the inside line and hope that it turns in without a nasty flick of the back end. So Tomilewski really getting into the hang of Minimax now. It's not going to be long till he's winning races regularly.
Absolutely. And in amongst that gaggle, you've got Lewis Goff, Oliver Hipkins, Kilpatrick, Hansen's still there. He's made up another 2 places. He dropped 3. Now he's made 2 of them back. So Victor Hansen's up and down like a yo-yo.
And despite his run off on the grass, David Vichachor is still in the mix of it. He hasn't dropped to the back of the field by any stretch of the imagination. And he is still trying to make up progress as we watch Leslie dart around behind Josh Graham. Noah Wolf still has time. He was the winner in round 1 and 2. He's in 3rd now, but he's still got time to make this count as we ride back on board with Bartle, with Walker and Hartley now reading him in once again. So Walker just trying to get a little bit more speed. You can see he's just trying to get closer off the apex. This is where you've got to read what the driver in front is doing and try and hang in behind him. Hope that he's going to make a little bit of an error as the leaders once again go into another lap. They complete lap 17. And this is a very quick lap here at GYG, so you get an awful lot of track time in these finals. And here comes Walker again. Now watch, he's going to get the slipstream here with Bartle. Catches, nudges, nudges. Up through towards Spoon Corner. Can he dive in on the inside? Bartle is keeping that kart ridiculously wide. There's no gap on the inside line.
You can see from the onboard camera, though, up Dragon Straight, 220 metres. From the apex of turn 1 to the apex of turn 2, the blind brow, it's 220 metres there. You can see how valuable the slipstream is, even in a kart.
So out of the rib crunch up and across the line to go into another lap. There's 2 to go by my math. They might even get 3 actually as they cross the line with 50 seconds to spare. So they might just get a 3rd lap in out of that. But certainly now it's the business end of the race and they're trying to drop Will Murphy, these leading trio. Graham, Leslie, Wolf, down the hill, up into the hairpin once again. This is about who blinks first now. It's essentially about who decides to make the big bid. At the moment, Graham isn't defending too aggressively. Leslie's just trying to get him under false pretenses, and Wolf is trying to sneak up the inside line. And watch as they drop through the compression complex. You'll notice that the karts have a tendency of having 2 wheels, possibly sometimes it's often 3, but yeah, they are going to get another lap in as they cross the line. But sometimes you get 2 or 3 wheels on the deck and 1 or 2 wheels in the air as you use so much attrition through those drops of camber. It's so physical. That's going to play its part in the latter stages of the race because they're going to be worked out physically. And they're also going to be pushing the tyres as well. A little bit of a twitch there from Leslie. Wolf is backed up into the path of Murphy again. This is going to be very tough indeed for Josh Graham to hang on to in the lead. Leslie 2nd, Wolf 3rd, Murphy 4th. Blink and you'll miss the move because this is going to be very close for the last lap and a half.
Yeah, nothing in it. The Wolf is definitely hunting his prey, you might say. Sorry for the pun, but absolutely Noah Wolf, as we said at Warnlaw last time, he was sitting 2nd then. And he won't want to accept 2nd, even though the points are good. Same will be the case today. He will hope that Finn Leslie here goes for it, and he goes with him.
Here he goes, but that's well covered off by Josh Graham. He couldn't get the move on the inside line, but Leslie was definitely going faster. Now Graham has thrown the anchor over the side of the ship. He is going to defend to the inside line, and he's going to hold to cover as much as physically possible. It's going to be so difficult to hold this inside line as they go through the right switches, out through the hairpin. Leslie tries, can't quite get alongside. Dives in through the rib cruncher, out through Devil's Elbow. Is there going to be a chance? There isn't, and it's going to be close to the line, but it will be Graham in front of Leslie and Wolf. 83 thousandths of a second at the line as Bartle's going to watch as up the inside Hartley tangles with Walker in the final bend. Oh, Walker, oh my goodness. He gets back on the road just in front of Finley Buck. But how close was that to a massive accident as unfortunately Walker gets spat out of the train there in his battle with Liam Hartley and then gets back on Finley Buck. is the luckiest man in history. He just misses the recovering cart. That could have been very, very nasty indeed. Graham takes the win then from Leslie, Wolf and Murphy, from Mins and Freddie Housley, Thomas Mintz-Fearing, Harry Bartle, Liam Hartley and Finley Buck in the top 10. 18 places made up in the end by Josh Salvadori and 12 made up by Victor Hansen. Great work from those two.
The man that was always there or thereabouts throughout. He was leading, then he fell back, and then ultimately got himself back out in front, was Josh Graham. Well done to him. Let's go and see what he had to say when we caught up with him at the podium.
Josh, your team boss at Argenti, Ron Meadows, going to be very happy with that result, I think, but that was a tough one, wasn't it?
Yeah, just had to keep myself cool and just never give up.
And with the battle at the front being as tight as it was, were you always aware of the position you were in and what you needed to do for the rest of the race to hold on to it?
Not really, I just focus in front of me, just get on with the race and win.
Okay, great result for you. Who do you want to thank?
I'd like to thank Argenti Motorsport, Carter Public Chassis, Tate Stove, my dad and anyone else, and Ogden Race Engines.
Okay, well done.
Thanks.
We got good points, so we've closed up on the championship leader now.
Yeah,
not too far
certainly
off.
have. And your success this weekend, who's that to?
I'd like to thank Cream Racing Engines, Sam Pollock Racing, and all my family for coming to support me.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Our exhaust cracked, so we had a little bit less power in the final, so I had to salvage some points, and that's exactly what I'd done.
And that's your mindset, isn't it? You know, when things aren't going well, you've got to stay in there and get the best points that you can, and that's what you did, and that's the sort of experience. How old are you now?
I'm 12.
So 12 years of age, it's a great mindset to have. What about your success this weekend? Who's that down to?
My mechanic Sam, Synergy, KR and all my partners, and UKC for running this amazing event.
Okay, well done.
Noah Wolf there, looking very strong in the lead of the title fight. 22 points now ahead of Josh Graham, 23 ahead of Finn Leslie, and 27 ahead of Sebastian Mins. Freddie Housley and Will Murphy are still in the hunt, and the top 10 rounded out by Bartle, Spearing, Hartley and Buck.
So there we are, our first instalment of action from here at the beautiful Glan Y Gors Park in North Wales has come to a close. Join us next time though, because we have 3 more super finals still to bring you for Micromax, Junior and Senior Road Tax. Until then, see ya.